online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
All right. Here we go. It is Friday. Welcome into the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. Look, man, it's Friday. You made it to the weekend. Thanks for being a part of the show. Feel free to drop a comment. This is a live radio show, y'all. So drop me a comment on the live stream if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, however you're tuning in there. Hi to you. Shoot me a text on the Country Pleasing text line. I'll give you that number if you don't know it. And I'm going to do something different. As you know, if you've listened, we don't do a lot of guests. It's been a long time since we had a sure enough. Well, I say a long time. We got to talk to Jim Richmond earlier this week from C Spire, looking ahead to the Outstanding Player Awards that'll be given out on Monday. Very few guests. I think you're sick and tired of hearing me. I know I am. So since we had a whole round of baseball on a Thursday night last night, we've got baseball to recap. I thought, why not do it with one of the guys you've been watching and listening to for years now, calling Mississippi State baseball on the Davini phone right now. His name is Bart, as in Gregory, on the Davini Equipment phone line. And a treat to start off on a Friday show for you. Bart, happy Friday, sir.
Man, I tell you what, how you doing, Matt?
As far as I know,
you got that right.
As far as I know, the last I heard, Bart, I'm fine.
That's good. That's good. Same way this morning. When I left the house this morning, all the kids made it to school on time. Everybody ate, and so today was a good start to the morning because nobody cried and nobody yelled.
Yeah. That's okay. So no fits were thrown or anything like that. That's good. Hey, I was thinking as I was getting ready to talk to you, it just dawned on me. So we're doing the show today. Live. I will not be here on Monday. We've got some stuff to take care of to get ready for doing a whole week of broadcasts. We're going to do the show from Hoover at the SEC tournament. And then the following Monday is Memorial Day, right? And I was just wondering.
That's right.
I wondered if you already have Memorial Day food plans that involve country pleasing sausage, possibly, maybe, kind of.
Well, I was actually texting Henry last night, and it seems like every other night I'm texting Henry Cooper, who is the owner, the inventor of everything country pleasing. And so I was actually just trying to get some pairings last night, and I had some black pepper and cheddar last night.
Okay.
And I think you've had that.
I have. I love it.
And we were just talking about how, that's good for jambalaya, that's good for an etouffee. Just, it's a little bit different. But, yeah, I'm sure if I do. I mean, every time, hey, I've got steaks going on the grill tonight, and every time I put something on the grill, I'll just throw a stick or something on of some kind of country pleasing. So, anyway.
Yeah, well.
My mother-in-law is from Birmingham, and she's coming over this weekend. And so, over in Alabama, there's another kind of sausage that a lot of people are proud of in Alabama. It's almost like it's theirs. And so I say, no, we got our own over here. And a lot of people think, and I think it may be the best, and it is the best. And so I'm going to put the sausage on the grill tonight for the mother-in-law.
Hey, so I guess it's been a couple months ago when I took Mary Liddy to a midweek baseball game. They were playing Grambling, right? And you and Charlie were up in the booth working. We went and we sat in the stands. And I, before we left, I went over to that concession on the third base side, and I got first time I had gotten one at the concession stand there at the baseball game, the sausage dog with the original smoked sausage there, and it seems like they had a couple different options for the flavors of sausage you could get in there, but I just chose the original smoke, and they put that slaw on it. And we were leaving early, so I didn't eat it right when I bought it. I got it, and she got a piece of pizza, and we walked to the car with the food, and my wife, Annabeth, picked us up, and we were going to eat the food in the car on the way back to Tupelo, right? And Annabeth at one point pulled over, watched me eat the sausage dog, and laughed at me. She said because it took 3 bites for the entire thing. Yeah, I'm telling you, and I have people that have listened to the show will tell you I have raved about it. And we even had a guy who listens to the show, Bart. He's known around here as Jay in Baltimore. He's a huge state baseball fan, and he recently drove all the way down for a game. And he was saying, like, where should we go eat when we're in Starkville? I said, look, just go to the game, get a sausage dog. That's the best recommendation I could give him. And so, look, it's when you said black pepper and cheddar, if I could put that on a sausage dog, I believe it'd have something.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the thing, and I know I won't go too far with it, but I had one of the writers ask me about it in the press box one day. It says, man, you boys, you and Matt, man, that's all you talk about. And Charlie, that's all y'all talk about is this country pleasing sausage. And I was like, let me tell you something. Here's the thing. We only promote good stuff. and also, as I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, that's the best product that you have in that category. Best product, hands down, no doubt. We're not trying to upsell you on anything that's just okay. It's good.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about it. I don't hesitate to tell people because I know as soon as they eat it, they'll be like, oh, this is what he was talking about, So it kind of works both ways.
Right.
Bart Gregory is with us to start the show, and I thought, why not? We don't hardly ever do interviews here, but we've got more than one today, and Bart's the first. We're going to talk a little baseball with him. First up, though, real quick, Bart, White Denzel on my Country Pleasing text line said, please ask Bart when's the next time he's coming to Union. I guess he means Union, Mississippi.
Yeah, I passed through Union on, I guess it was Monday, and stopped through. Got a good buddy of mine who owns a pharmacy there, Quinn's Family Pharmacy. Stopped through there, shouted out to a few folks there, and then came on back, went through Decatur. Yep. I don't know how much time you spent in Decatur and in Union, and stopped through, had lunch with my brother in Decatur, East Central, and came back through Union and came on back here. I like Union.
Yeah,
Union's a good little place, man. You can't figure out if you're in Neshoba County or Newton County. It's right there on the county line.
Yeah, well, that line though is kind of like the Mississippi-Alabama line. Like you can cross it, and if you're not looking at a map, you're not real sure because nothing looks different. It all looks the same. And same kind of folks. All right, look, I didn't plan on just passing along listener questions to start the interview, Bart, but I got one here, so I'm just going to continue this.
Okay.
The aforementioned Jay in Baltimore, he had a question for you. He said, can we eliminate the thought of seeing Eric Sarantola in a high-leverage situation moving forward? He's not seen an inning since the game in Charleston. What do you think?
Well, Eric came in and pitched the last inning against Missouri last weekend in the Saturday game. We didn't see him for a while there, and we saw him, on Saturday for one inning. And so you don't know what the mindset is going. I mean, he has not started the game before since that first SEC weekend out of Baton Rouge. And so I don't know. A lot of people send me – I'm in a lot of text groups like you are, Matt. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that send me texts and say, hey, why is this guy playing here? Why is this guy batting here? Why are we playing this guy? And why are we DHing this guy? As you know, we have zero behind the scenes conversation. Right. I mean, we show up at the ballpark, we broadcast just like everybody else. And so I don't know if you'll see him anymore in high leverage. I'll tell you what, when you get here's the thing about what postseason is compared to right now is when you start playing 3-4 games in a row, days back to back days, it always seems like something surprises you when you get in regional time. Or when you get into SEC tournament time, where you've got a guy out there who may not have been in high leverage situations in the past 2 months, who is in a leverage situation. Yeah. And what you mean by leverage situation, just a tight situation. And so nothing at this time of year, when you head into next week at Hoover, nothing is going to surprise me about who you would see out on the mound in a high leverage situation.
Bart, from your vantage point, what's important? What's most important for State? Well, let me word it a different way. How important is it for State to be a national seed in the NCAA tournament, and or to be that 4 seed in the SEC tournament where you don't have to play on the first day and therefore you're guaranteed a couple of days in Hoover? Like, in terms of what's left to play for State, what's most important right now, you think?
National seed, absolutely, without doubt. This ballpark, and Charlie and I talked about this a couple weeks ago, this ballpark was not meant to go on the road for super regionals. Mm-hmm. This ballpark was built to host super regionals. This ballpark was built, and this fan base is built to host super regionals. And hosting regionals is great. I mean, that's great. But when you're paired with another team in a super regional, that's when this ballpark comes into play. And so, to me, that's the big thing. Now, to get to that point, I think you're going to have some success. If State had taken care of business last weekend against Missouri, and then you come into this weekend, you play well at Alabama, you're not sure how important the SEC tournament is, quite simply. But since Friday and Saturday cropped up on you against a very bad Missouri team with a very bad RPI, now all of a sudden this weekend becomes important, and then get into the SEC tournament. I think it'd be good not to play on Tuesday, simply because it's just that perception when you start looking at the national seeds. If you're finished 5th place in the SEC, I still think you may get a national seed. You hope you would. Your RPI is still good, but I just think overall, what you're hoping toward and working toward is being one of the top 8 national seeds, and so that's where your thought process has to be.
So you think they still have some work to do then? Need to win at least one more game in Tuscaloosa and maybe get a 4 seed in Hoover and then go win at least one game there? Still work to do, you feel like?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a magic number. I mean, I don't. That's the thing is, you would feel a lot better about it had you won 2 out of 3 last weekend to solidify everything. RPI is good right now. It's in top 10, and so. But I tell you, it's you never want to put it in someone else's hands to make that determination for you. You just want to take away all doubt. But I mean, hey, here's the good thing. We've been in this situation before. I think back to 2013 when you had that great team that ended up being a national runner-up. I mean, we had to win some games at the end of the season and in Hoover just to host a regional. Then we went to Virginia, played the super regional. I mean, I'd rather be in our situation right now than we were 8 years ago in that situation.
Sure, no doubt. You're right, kind of controlling your own destiny for sure. Bart Gregory on your radio right now looking at State. So they win last night, low-scoring game because of another big hit by Tanner Allen. And he wasn't the only one who put the bat on the ball, but he was, he had the big hit, obviously, and drove in 2 runs. Bart, I'm trying to think of guys who've been, the rare era that Tanner Allen is in right now. Not only the hot streak and where the average is sitting there at this point in the year, but just the clutch nature. I mean, he's starting to get to the point where teams are fixing to stop pitching to him and just put him on base. And you don't see that a whole lot.
No, you really don't. I mean, you start thinking back to, 2010 or 2000. I mean, I think of Travis Chapman. Had a great year. Brian Weiss had a really good year back in the 1990s. He hit over 400. Then, of course, you talk about Jake Mangum. You talk about Brent Rooker. Some of those guys just had big hit after big hit after big hit. And Adam Frazier in 2013, we talked about that 2013 season. Adam Frazier had over 100 hits that year. It just seemed like every time he came to the plate, needed a hit, he got a hit. Here's the thing that I'm going to think back to a lot of different players that you've seen in this program. And, somebody, I was doing the ballgame last week, and somebody tweeted me and said, Tanner Allen's always dirty. He reminds me of Pete Young. And we had Pete Young on the show this week, and he played here at 87 to 89, and he was a guy that was just always dirty. He played the game hard. He played the game the right way, the quote-unquote right way. Mm-hmm. He just brought it every single day. And you look and see how the fans react to Tanner Allen. I mean, he's a star. I mean, when he walks out at the ballpark in front of all those people each and every game, he is a star. And you think back to a guy like Pete Young in the late 80s. You think back to Jacob Robson. You think back to, Jake Mangum, and now, a Tanner Allen. What's the thing that's all in common is those guys every day, they may have been in a 1-for-15 slump, but they played hard. They ran out ground balls. They got dirty. They just played it at 180 miles an hour. And I think that's one of the reasons that people just enjoy watching them. I mean, I've enjoyed watching Tanner Allen get better and better and better. He showed up here as a good hitter, but he's just gotten better in the field. He's one of the top outfielders in the country right now. This is a guy that started at first base for you for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And so he has been a joy to watch, and seeing what he's doing right now. Every time he comes to the plate, you're anticipating something good happening. And, hey, this is a game of failure, Matt. I mean, you know this. Out of 10 times you come to the plate, you fail 7 times, you're having a good year. And so every time he comes to the plate, it seems like he hits the ball hard.
Yep, no doubt. Bart Gregory on your radio. I was going back to something you said earlier, too. You had the question about Cerantola. You started talking about how you get in the postseason, sometimes you never know which guy, that 4th, 5th, 6th guy who's got to be on the mound in a high-leverage situation. You know who I think about an example of that? Remember Zach Houston going out several years ago in the SEC tournament in Hoover? And all year long, Zach had been like a bullpen guy and didn't really always have that release point. He walked some people, was never dominant. And all of a sudden, he went out in Hoover. They started him, kind of had to, against Alabama. And he mowed them down for 9 innings. Next thing you know, he's an 11th round draft pick and has had a long pro career in the Tigers organization, I think, trying to get to the majors. But, I wonder who this year's Zach Houston would be.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Is it a Parker Stinnett?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a Stone Simmons? I mean, we saw Zach pitch or Parker pitch in the game on Tuesday night. Started that game Tuesday night, and he kind of lost that release point. He's got great stuff. Good makeup with a fastball and curveball. If he can just find that release point with that breaking ball, he can be really, really good for you. Mm-hmm. We've got plenty of arms out there, but it's almost like a double-edged sword, man. I mean, what's been said about this team all year long is it's the deepest pitching staff in America.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing. But when you don't play, but 3 games a week, you have some rainouts in the midweek, and nobody's sharp. I mean, if you're trying to keep 7-8 guys sharp, then all of a sudden the guy goes 3 weeks without pitching.
Mm-hmm.
And in this game, it's like golf, man. You can't put the clubs down for 2 weeks. And I know a lot of people say, well, they still pitch bullpens. Let me tell you, pitching a bullpen is completely different than throwing with grandmas in the stand. It's just a different feel, a different look. And so that's the thing that's been, kind of tough for Scott Foxhall and the pitching staff is just kind of narrowing everything down to get your guys some work. And but going into the SEC season, you felt like you've kind of protected a lot of these starting pitchers by not overthrowing. You've had some injuries throughout the SEC. We have not gone over and above as far as pitch count this year at all on any of our guys. Mm-hmm. And so you may start to see some of these guys, throw a little bit more often out of the bullpen, and you may see you whittle yourself down in the bullpen. Kind of like a basketball coach, he starts the season running 12 and 13 out there, and then all of a sudden you get to conference play and you're rolling out 8 and 9.
Yeah.
I think you got to find your rotation.
Yeah, you're right, because it's almost like, to this point, State's picking a guy out of State's bullpen is about like going up to the freezer section at Walmart and picking out a flavor of country pleasing sausage. Like, you can pretty much just pick any of them. It's probably pretty good. It's a pretty good correlation there.
But and so much has been said about Landon Sims, and I mean, we talk about Tanner Allen being one of the best, outfielders in the country. Landon Sims is one of the best relievers in the country, hands down, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I feel good about the other guy in Preston Johnson you got out there. I mean, there's another guy that's got really good stuff. Now, he got hit a little bit his last time out Saturday against Missouri, and he was trying to bounce back from a game 1 back to game 3. But, I mean, he's been really good for you. He's pitched in some high-leverage situations this year, too.
He sure has, and as a strike thrower has been too. And that's one thing, about him, that you're confident he's going to hit the strike zone when he comes in there.
Absolutely.
Especially
that's what it's all about. How many leadoff walks score? About 185%.
That's it.
So,
that's about right.
Throwing strikes is important in 9-year-old baseball and in 21-year-old baseball.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. No free bases. Hey, and that would be a great podcast name. Now, you and Charlie already have a great podcast, the Out of Left Field podcast. And if y'all are listening and you haven't subscribed and downloaded and listened to Bart and Charlie talk baseball on Out of Left Field, go look it up and subscribe. But, you could, if you ever start a new one, Bart, it could just be called Just Throw Strikes. Okay? That'd be a good name for a podcast.
Exactly. You can be like that guy who sits in front of the booth that goes all over the TV and he says like things that it's just
yeah.
I mean, it's just the overly obvious. Hey, throw strikes! Throw strikes! Get him out of there!
Yeah.
Like everybody around the guy sitting there going, just watch.
Yeah, like the genius at the football game going, you got to tackle him. Yeah, we kind of know that. Bart, we appreciate you, man.
I enjoyed it, Matt.
All right, talk to you later. That's Bart Gregory. That'd be a great podcast name, wouldn't it? Just Throw Strikes. Or, like we said, no free bases. we can come up with some podcast names now. Just getting started with you. Your comments, thoughts, reactions coming up next on this Friday. Stick around.
No. After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech-Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech-Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their No Bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Or
Quiet Show on 105.9 The Zone and worldwide online at The Zone 1059.com.
We're back. Hope y'all enjoyed that conversation with Bart. See, here's what I figure. Well, gosh, you didn't ask for an explanation. You don't want one. You just want a radio show that gets you on down the road. I understand that. You're not asking for an explanation. I just don't do a lot of interviews on this show. We used to do some. We never did a lot, even when we started this show. But, in recent years and months, I just don't do them very often. And that's because, I think, what's the best way to say this? I think when you do an interview, it ought to be special. And you ought to pay attention. Instead of like dueling interviews during every hour of every show and you run them all together. That's what I think. So here on a Friday, on the last weekend of the regular season of baseball in college anyway, and everybody's starting on Thursday, and State and Ole Miss both won last night on the road. Great pitching performances. We got you Bart Gregory in here to talk a little baseball to start this hour. And to start hour 2, so in about a half hour from now, we're going to check in with Brad Henderson. He's the color analyst on the Ole Miss radio network, former Rebel hitter who all-time leader in hits there, great player, and then became a coach, and now he's in the broadcast biz, and he's with the team. They're broadcasting their series over at Georgia, and Ole Miss won last night 2-0. Nikhazy is outstanding. Everybody's making a big deal out of a lot of other pitchers. I'm talking about starting pitchers in the SEC, and I think any conversation out there about pitcher of the year in the SEC that doesn't involve Doug Nikhazy at Ole Miss is probably not a very responsible one, because you can say he's going about it quietly or whatever you want to say, but he's just mowing everybody down. You look what he did against State. You look what he did against Vandy. Look what he did last night against Georgia. I mean, there's not a more important piece, and there haven't been more important performances for Ole Miss than what they are getting every week, it seems like, out of Doug Nikhazy, and albeit a guy who was a little bit banged up early in the year too. So we'll talk with Brad about Nikhazy's outing last night, and might also talk. Brad played in a bunch of SEC tournaments and knows what it feels like. So we'll talk about that with him also coming up. But to reset, hi on this Friday. Hope y'all are doing well. Thanks for your comments already on the live stream. Drop them right there if you're on Facebook or YouTube, Periscope. If you want, shoot me a text on the Country Pleasing text line. It's 885-ESPN, a 601 number, 885-ESPN. We're live here today on this Thursday, so you text me, I'll see it. Again, 885-3776, or call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson, 995-1059, 601-995-1059. Woodrow, I got your text. He said, "What up, Matt? Great to hear you today." Well, Good to be heard. Thanks for being around with us. He said, hey to Bart. Jay in Baltimore commented on the country pleasing text. He said, Lemonis is clearly making decisions on the lineup based on a higher need that day, offense or defense. He said, are you more comfortable with leaning on the defense or focusing more on scoring runs with this club? Well, your observation is right, Jay. You know, on nights when he's pretty confident he's going to put guys on the mound who have a chance to really limit the other guys, just like last night. You know, McLeod goes out, goes for a 7-inning start, strikes out 10 guys, and then you finish it up with 2 innings of Landon Sims. Well, if you know barring a real flop, we're going to hold these guys somewhere in that, 3 to 4 run range, then what do? You probably go with the defensive lineup. Leggett at third base, and they hadn't gone so far as to put Hatcher back in at first. But if it's later in the weekend, you're right. You may not see Leggett in the lineup. You may see, the extra bat in there at DH, and you may see a Kellum Clark starting in left, and you got Cameron James at third, and maybe you sacrifice a little defense for the ability to hit the ball out of the yard possibly, or, have the big inning. But it is a good observation for sure. More Bully texted the show. Yo, Matt, he says, where can we watch Uneven on Sunday? I finally watched all the previews last night. Fantastic. Can't wait. Well, thank you. More Bully, first of all, the same place that you watch the previews, you'll be able to look on there Sunday night and watch the full-length piece somewhere in the neighborhood of it's better than a half hour. It's right around 40 minutes long, the final piece. And it'll be up Sunday night at unevenbaseball.com. If y'all are listening, you haven't checked that out, you can see what it's about. Short clips there to kind of give you a little of a preview of what you'll be able to see on Sunday night when we publish the full-length film. Unevenbaseball.com, that's the place to go. Now, I will tell you, More Bully, what I'm going to do also is, unless I have a change of heart, what I'm going to do also at some point, may not do this Sunday night, but at some point will also provide you YouTube links, like a YouTube link directly to, an upload of the final piece there. Probably provide a direct link to Vimeo, which is another video hosting site there. And there's also a possibility we may make the decision to, instead of just linking that final piece on the Facebook page at facebook.com/Radio Wyatt, might make the decision to at some point go ahead and upload and share the entire finished piece there, but we may not do that also. So what I would tell you is just on Sunday night, keep glued to 2 places. Number 1, unevenbaseball.com, and number 2, my Twitter feed, which is at Radio Wyatt. Okay, so, and I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you. Nick texts us, and he says, being a lefty with velocity and location to go along with nasty stuff is like hitting the life lottery. Kid is legit. Nikhazy is absolutely legit. There's no doubt about it. I mean, and just keeps everybody off balance. He may be the best. Look, I'll be honest with you. He and McLeod hasn't been nearly as consistent every single week, maybe as Nikhazy has. But when they're on, like you watch McLeod last night, they were really similar. Nikhazy was a little better, obviously, against Georgia. Nikhazy for Ole Miss pitched 7 innings, threw 115 pitches, no runs on 4 hits, struck out 13 and walked 2. Okay. The line for Christian McLeod, 7 innings, the same number of innings, fewer pitches. McLeod threw 96 pitches, so he was actually, 20 fewer pitches than Nikhazy. McLeod threw 96 pitches, 2 runs on 5 hits, gave up the 1 home run, only walked 1 and struck out 10. They were both in double-digit strikeouts. One had a walk, the other one had 2. One gave up no runs, the other one gave up 2. One gave up 4 hits, the other one gave up 5. They were very similar, right? Nikhazy's been a little better, but the comparison is those have been 2 of the better lefty starters in the SEC this year at changing speeds. when you look at the number of times that hitters are off balance. They are behind on the fastball. They're late on the fastball. They're looking for something else, or they've seen off speed and they've moved their eyes forward, and then bam, the ball's by them. High spin rate fastball up or out or whatever. Nikhazy's really good at coming in. And then at the same time, in the same ball games, how many times you'll see hitters that are way out in front of that breaking ball. They are convinced that breaking ball's coming in, it's going to be over the plate. They go after it, and they run out of bat before the ball even gets there. Those two lefties, Nikhazy and McLeod, have been really good at the off speed and keeping hitters off balance and changing speeds. And I guess, neither has the 95-mile-an-hour velocity. So there's a little bit of a necessity at that level to change speeds a lot. But, man, they both do it effectively, for sure. Grumpy, I think your text got cut short there, maybe in half. You might want to try that again. We only got like a couple of words on it. Bulldog 44 on the text line says, Bart needs to hit his family in Alabama with one of my simple breakfast favorites. A homemade biscuit with some sliced country-pleasing pineapple sausage and a little apple jelly. Hold on a minute, Bulldog 44. I'm going to take my hat off here. Hold my head. Moment of silence over my heart here. Hold on. Amen. All right, thanks, Bulldog 44. Appreciate the suggestion. 4-2 win last night for State on the road at Alabama. Needed it off the good start. Did use Landon Sims for a couple of innings to close and save the game, so he will not pitch today. They'll start Bednar. Bama's got a kid on the mound who's a future draft pick. He's a big-time prospect. He hasn't been their best nor most consistent, but when he's on, he's got good stuff. But he's been hit around some this year, so it's just a matter of kind of like what outing do you get from him. But with Bednar on the mound, State will have a chance to win the series tonight against Alabama. Ole Miss, all-important first win of a road series at Georgia, shut them out 2-0. A 5-hit combined shutout for Nikhazy and Broadway. And it's on to Diamond. Put Diamond on the mound tonight and see if they can win the series at Georgia. We'll go over some of the rest of it. And then when we come back here, I will let you hear what Nikhazy said in his post-game interview on their radio broadcast. And I'll let you hear what Coach Lemonis said after the ballgame last night also. That's coming up next. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Arrived today. Jeans do come true. Thank you, Blue Delta. Yeah, jeans do come true. That's what the bag says. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, hand tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi, my hometown. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase. Again, that's if you listen to me, you can use discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, and at checkout, you're going to get a 10% discount off your order. So I just went online, ordered them, BlueDeltaJeans.com a couple weeks ago. Went in, I didn't go get measured. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are at my doorstep a couple weeks later. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Nice. I'm happy. I've known the Blue Delta team for years, and I'm thrilled to have these guys on as a sponsor of this show. Blue Delta's Virtual Tailor is a fun and easy way to get yourself into the best fitting pair of jeans you're ever going to own. Bet you never thought you'd get a butt shot out of me, huh? How about that? Just answer the questions and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions. It's amazing how they do it. They will fit perfectly. You're not going to find better material and better feeling pants, period, anywhere. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. I promise you that. And I know that you are going to love them too. Make sure you use the code. And remember, jeans do come true.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, 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 Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today, and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, Meadow, Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
Is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time. Thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jell-O Instant Pudding, made by the famous Jell-O folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good, busy day dessert. Jell-O Instant Pudding.
Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
Hey! Here we go. Rolling along with you here. Hour number 1 of this Friday show. We talked to Bart Gregory earlier. We're going to talk to Brad Henderson coming up later. Baseball on the brain. That's what I got. Game 2s will be happening all over the place tonight around the SEC and around the country in college baseball. State and Ole Miss will be going for series wins after winning last night. State a 4-2 winner at Alabama. Ole Miss a 2-zip winner at Georgia. State played, let's see, they stayed right where they were. State was at number 8 in the RPI rankings going into last night. They win. They're still at number 8. Ole Miss, let's see, they moved up a spot. Yeah, Ole Miss was at 15, I believe, and they went on the road at Georgia last night, moved up to 14 in the RPI. Other things around the SEC of note, Auburn made a huge step towards Hoover, Alabama, and next week's SEC baseball tournament. As we talked about yesterday and coming into this weekend, 3 teams in the SEC with hopes of earning that final spot, that 12th and final spot, that 12th and final seed in the SEC tournament in Hoover. 3 teams are up for it, Auburn, Missouri, and A&M. And Auburn, Missouri playing each other, and Auburn beat the tar out of Missouri last night, 15-6. It was like an 8-0 game late in that ball game, so there had to be a lot of late scoring. Yeah. Looking at it here, after 6 innings, Auburn was up 8-0. After 6.5, they were up 9-0. And then Missouri scored 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th. Meanwhile, Auburn put up 8 runs in the top of the 6th. 6 runs in the top of the 8th. Got it backwards there. But late scoring in that ballgame, still Auburn just runs away with it. Neither of them could get each other out late in the game. 15-6, Auburn wins. So a big, huge step for them. They still, let's see, do we have this? Yeah, they still need to win today because A&M beat LSU last night. So A&M's hope of sweeping LSU is still alive. A&M beat LSU last night out in Texas 2-1. And I thought I remembered seeing that if Auburn were to lose a couple of games, which they've got 2 left with Missouri, and A&M were to sweep LSU, it'd be A&M going to Hoover and not Auburn. So, but Auburn's halfway in there after winning last night. Tennessee took care of South Carolina on the road 10-4. Arkansas took care of Florida. Arkansas beat Florida 6-1 last night. Cops went in there and pitched. He was still really good, as always. And Vandy had a bottom of the ninth walk-off 2-run home run to beat Kentucky 4-2, broke a 2-2 tie. I flipped over there and was watching that one when that happened. Kid hit one slightly opposite field, left center. He's a left-handed hitter, and I thought when he hit it, it looked like just a routine fly ball. And he kept going and going and going. Went right on out of the yard. So that's what happened last night around the SEC. And of note for State fans, that Arkansas win over Florida helps State in trying to be that number 4 seed in the SEC tournament next week in Hoover. Like we talked about earlier, the top 4 seeds don't have to play on the opening day on Tuesday. They just come in and play during the double elimination part starting on Wednesday. They're guaranteed at least 2 games, a little bit longer week, kind of know you're going to be there. Feels better, right? Still work to do in that regard because everybody's got 2 games left this weekend. So it's just a start. But as of last night, State winning at Alabama and then Arkansas beating Florida jumped State, for the time being, ahead of Florida. Coming to your messages, your texts, your comments. Happy Friday to you, Will, on the live stream. Thanks for giving us a tip of the cap, dropping in some more of your comments coming up. Big Dog and Matthew and Sven and Grumpy and Jay, I'll come to y'all on the text line. But first, I want you to hear this. This was last night after Doug Nikhazy goes 7 innings of shutout baseball, gives up 4 hits but no runs, and struck out. I think they said it was his, let me see, what did they say? It was his 100th strikeout of his career, something like that. Well, anyway, he had 13 strikeouts in the ballgame last night. He was absolutely outstanding. 115 pitches thrown, 77 of those were strikes. He talked about it with Brad Henderson on the radio after the game.
Yeah, I felt really good today. It seemed like after that first inning, I knew where the fastball was going. I had a little hiccup in the beginning, or somewhere in the middle innings, but yeah, just everything working for me, and it was one of those nights where everything just paired up well.
Doug, obviously this weekend is huge, just like they all are, but obviously we're extremely close to the postseason. How important was this Game 1 win?
Fridays are always, I think, some of the most important games. I mean, just giving our team the ability to just come out and win tomorrow on swing day or win on Energy Saturday. I mean, getting that first one of the way is huge.
All right, so 2-zip win for Ole Miss. Last night, a 4-2 win for State. They were down 1-zip after 5. But a big 4th inning, including a 2 RBI double by you-know-who, Mr. Tanner Allen.
1-1 pitch. Line shot in towards the gap. It's going to get in there and go to the wall in left center field. That will drive in 1, maybe 2. Crossing the plate is Leggett. Following him to the plate and scoring is Forsythe. A stand-up 2-run double for Tanner Allen, and the Bulldogs have a 4-1 lead in the ballgame.
Held on for a 4-2 win. State last night, 4 runs on 7 hits, no errors. For Alabama, 2 runs on 6 hits and an error. Here's Lamonis after the ball game.
A well-pitched ball game by both ball clubs, and we got just enough done, and I would take away a 4-2 victory.
Yeah, it was a gritty Friday night win. Just keep playing the game, and I was really proud of how we made plays. Christian, man, he was really good tonight. You know, he gave up the home run, and a lot of nights that's not a home run, and then he gives up another run with some bouncers to the infield. But he was really good against a good lineup, and Landon obviously was really good there at the end. So proud of our guys.
A little static in there, huh? Had some static in there. Sometimes it happens. On the Country Pleasing text line, 885-ESPN, Grumpy said, Matt, thanks for the baseball update. Had 2 granddaughters' graduations last night and missed all of the baseball. Yeah, well, you got plenty of baseball left in your life, but you get that experience once, right, Grumpy? for them anyway. So you did the right thing. Pay attention to them. Jay in Baltimore says, Cameron James just doesn't look comfortable at the plate right now, but no way would I consider sitting his bat. Unlike Hatcher, James has been huge for us earlier in the year and is critical to our postseason run. Yeah, and two, he's going through all this for the first time. He's technically still a freshman. He's playing SEC teams for the first time in his life this year. He didn't get to do it at all last year, just an 8-game season. He's technically still a freshman. So every at-bat he's learning. You know, and when you watch Tanner Allen, a guy who's experienced like him, you watch him, Jay, and it's like Tanner knows what they're throwing before they throw it. Okay, he's outguessing them, and he's just so on top of it, knows how to use the other side of the field. And you look at Cameron James, and he's battling through it, playing on ability and that kind of thing. But a lot of times they're messing with him. You know, everybody's starting him off first pitch breaking ball for a strike, staying away, daring him to try to pull it and stuff like that. And when he's trying to go away and you know, keeping the bat back, you know, he's just missing it. A lot of foul balls and that kind of thing. So I agree with you. You don't take his bat out. He's going to be fine, but he's just learning, I think, right now. Unfortunately, kind of learning some things the hard way, but that's baseball. That's the way it goes. Big Dog over here on the YouTube live stream had an interesting thought. He said that he's hearing from people that LSU is already in talks with hiring Kevin O'Sullivan from Florida. Says they're going to pay off Maneri to retire and make him a baseball ambassador for LSU. Wouldn't be surprised. It sort of has felt that way, hasn't it? And this is sort of, you know, felt like, you know, I mean, it certainly has been a very subpar year for LSU to this point. I don't know. He's just been there forever. It just seems like there's a lot of smoke. Where there's smoke, there's usually some fire. Regarding possibly a change at LSU, we'll have to see. Matthew on the live stream said, Hail State, Matt, have a great show. We're going to sweep Alabama if we keep playing like we did last night. Well, certainly if you pitch it like you did last night. You know, if you get a 10 strikeout, 7-inning outing out of Bednar today and get it to your bullpen, you got a great chance to win the series for sure. And then we'll see what happens on Sunday. I don't know that we know who they're going to throw on Sunday, do we? Do we? Big Dog commented on YouTube, said, if I was LSU, I'd go after Coach Gotro rather than O'Sullivan, but it seems like LSU is not shy with their checkbook when they hire people. Well, certainly not. They certainly are not shy with the checkbook. They got the ability and the money to hire who they think they should. Grumpy said, Matt, I was riding in a delivery truck yesterday and might have missed your answer to my question about your dad's what? Dad's grand what? I think we got a typo in there, Grumpy. Send me a little clarification and I'll get to it in hour number 2 coming up. Now, at the top of the hour, in just a few minutes, maybe about 10 minutes from now, we'll chat it up with Brad Henderson, part of the Ole Miss Baseball Radio Network, former player and coach, about what's in front of Ole Miss as they're over in Athens this weekend. That's all coming up. More baseball for you on this Friday. Stay with me.
There's a lot.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country-pleasing sausage is outstanding whether you cook it over a fire or in the house. Cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor. You see that? But this right here is my favorite. the maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage, hands down, the best. Trust me. Davini Equipment, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson, Highway 51 in Madison. Hey y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their No Bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if you know who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, BlueDeltaJeans.com. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Just answered the questions, and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions, use this code. Use the code, you're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn, and I know that you are going to love them too.
Samsung Connected Appliances. Repel the rain with HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Everlast. And keep the job going longer with the exclusive new line of Flex Power Tools, made for pros. To see who made the full Lowe's list, visit Lowe's.com. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility.
WRKS Pickett's Jackson.
Hi, John.
It's time to get back to the Matt Wyatt Show.
Live in the studio.
Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Hey, all right, let's go. Let's go. Starting off hour number 2 with a bang. Hour 2 of the show here in the Bureau. The Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance around the great state of Mississippi. Hey! Your hometown heroes. That's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. Well, take my word for it. Try it. You'll be glad you did. Get to know that guy personally. And then you have that fender bender. Hopefully not. But you have that fender bender at 11 o'clock on Saturday night. You know who to text. And if he's in the bed, he'll get up out of bed if he has to. That's the way it works with Farm Bureau. Now, me, on the other hand, I'm long asleep by 11 p.m. Don't text me. I'm not getting it. I won't see it till the next morning. But if you text me now during the radio show, I'll see it on the Country Pleasing text line. It's 885-ESPN 601-885-ESPN. Right now, over here on the phone, on the Davini Equipment phone line, is the all-time hits leader at Ole Miss. He's held that record as long as any of y'all can remember. His name is Brad Henderson. He is the analyst on the Ole Miss radio, baseball radio network, calling games this weekend over in Athens, Georgia, and he's on your radio right now. Brad, really do appreciate a little bit of time. As I just assumed y'all were trying to kill some time until the ball game starts, so I'm trying to help you out, you know?
Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you having me back on. But, yeah, you're right. I just got back from a pretty good walk in downtown Athens, went to check it out. You know, when you play here as a player, you don't really get to see the college towns and see what they're about. So I had a chance to get out in Athens today, and it's a beautiful town, and the weather's obviously is perfect right now.
I'm telling you, it's great here in your old stomping grounds, Tupelo, Mississippi. Of course, beautiful, but the wind's blowing a little bit. It's messing my hair up. Don't laugh. Don't laugh at that. But, hey, you're right now. Georgia, we were talking about the campus yesterday. Anna Beth was here, and, you know, I got to see it during football season, and it was during the daytime, so I kind of walked around and looked. It is a gorgeous campus. Got some water running through it, and a great town. And you're right. You know, Brad, I think that's one thing fans don't realize, do they, that when you're on a ball team, like you bus in, you're to the stadium, you're back on the bus, and you never see any of the stuff the fans see, do you?
No, you really don't. You don't get that opportunity. And, you know, if fans ever get a chance, obviously, for any of the sports to go see some of these other college towns, there's some really good ones in the SEC. And I was glad we made this road trip. Like I said, it's one of the few that I haven't been to as simply a fan, and I've enjoyed being here. It's been a good start, and obviously winning last night certainly helped.
Are you enjoying watching Doug Nikhazy pitch?
Well, that's an understatement. And, you know, now that we're at the end of the road as far as the season goes, I haven't given Doug enough credit. It's just one of those – he's one of those guys that, you know, he doesn't overwhelm you with velocity. You know, he's going to pitch basically 87, 88 miles an hour. And then when he gets in a jam, he'll go to 90, 91. But he just gets out. He misses barrels, and what few jams he gets in, that's when he steps up. And it's been a joy watching him this year, and he's been thrown in some fires. It seems like every time he's pitched, it's been almost that must-win feeling. Mm-hmm. You know, we sweep the first two that he doesn't pitch in because of a pec injury, and then we came and lose 6 series in a row, and most of those we lost. In fact, I think all of those we lost the Friday night game or the game one, and so, you know, it was his turn to step up, and the rest is history. He's really, really good, and I've just done him a disservice up until this point because a lot of times I just went into it thinking, man, if Doug can just give us a chance, and that hadn't been the case. He's just been outstanding. And he's a warrior, and it's good to see him pitching the way he has really all year.
I think everybody kind of understates what he's done this year. It's like, even like the national guys and the TV guys that keep up with the league, and they do a fantastic job. But having said that, I think you and I and others probably aren't the only ones this year who've sort of underappreciated just how good and consistent he's been every week, especially against good teams. You look at what he did against State. You look at what he did against Vandy. He goes out there last night and strikes out 13 on the road in the last weekend, pitching on a Thursday, not a Friday. And there's just so many good pitchers in the league, Brad. It's like we understand people talking about Rocker and Leiter and Cops and Hoagland before the injury, but Nikhazy, I'm not so sure Nikhazy hadn't been the most consistent of all of them.
Yeah, I think you're right, Matt. And I think he definitely needs to be in the conversation for SEC Pitcher of the Year.
Yeah.
He's been that good. He's been that consistent. And his SEC numbers are gaudy. He's got the one loss against LSU, and that's it. And he has been dominant the rest of the time. And like I said, it's really been under a lot of pressure. Of course, he doesn't feel that, or he doesn't put that on himself. But they were almost always must-win games after losing one game, the first game in the series. And that's hard to do. And now he's been thrown in that starter's role, game one role, that started last week because of Gunner's injury 2 weeks ago at A&M. And, he matches up with Kumar. And realistically, he shuts down a really, really good Vanderbilt offense.
Yeah.
But he's done it all year. And he's just a guy that this team can rely on. But you're right. He hasn't gotten the media attention that he rightfully deserves. But one way or another, that's not going to bother Doug. He's not wired that way. He just continues to go out and get the job done.
Man, I tell you, he is some kind of competitive too. Yeah, I mean, just like he kind of exudes it. I watch him out there at Rascals talking to himself, and I'm wondering what
he does. Well, he's an emotional guy.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, there's a lot of emotional pitchers, but it's a controlled emotion. But yeah, you're right. Sometimes he's kind of quirky. I noticed last night he threw a changeup and it wasn't close to the zone, and he's out there looking at his hand and what he should have done and patting his chest like, my bad, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of pitchers are quirky. But yeah, he's an emotional guy that just kind of wears his heart on his sleeve. But like I said, it's control. You don't ever see him trying to overthrow pitches at the wrong time. And when he misses, he doesn't miss out over the heart of the plate. And I think that's what allowed him to be as consistent as he's been. But what a luxury to have, especially when a Gunnar Hoagland goes down, that you can substitute Doug in game one and you really don't fall off at all.
Yeah, no drop off whatsoever. Brad Henderson on your radio right now, talking Ole Miss baseball. Nikhazy strikes out 13 in a shutout. Combined 4-hit shutout for he and Broadway last night. And so then it's on to game two. Is it? I'm assuming, is it Diamond? Does he throw today?
Yeah, they're going to continue the same rotation as we did last week.
Okay.
And Derek's been good. He's shown signs of being really good, and then he's shown signs of having some inconsistency.
Mm-hmm.
But the stuff is really good. We've seen him up to 96, 97. His trouble has been really that second or third time through the lineup, teams being able to figure him out. Now, you certainly hope that's not the case tonight. But the good part of that is if he does get in trouble, we've got a fresh bullpen, and we've also got an offense that can bail you out of a lot of jams. And I think this late in the year, with some injuries to Hoagland and Shofi, we will have to rely on that offense a lot more than we thought we would when the season started.
Sure. Brad, it's funny, like every time we talk, I hear any conversation about pitching these days, we hear there's 95, 94, 96, you're like, Diamond, yeah, he's been pretty good. He's just got to be more consistent. He'll throw 96, 97 every now and then. Almost like it's like, ho-hum, whatever. I'm thinking, when you played in the 90s, did you ever see 96?
It was rare.
Yeah.
It was rare, and most of those guys that were at that level, I can think of like a Brad Lidge, who closed for the Houston Astros for a long time. He was at Notre Dame. We played, but you could count them on one hand. and a lot of those guys went on to pitch in the big leagues.
And now it's every weekend.
And yeah, it's every weekend. You know, Georgia threw 6 guys last night, and I think every one of them were at least 93, and several of those were left-handers. And it's just it blows my mind. But you know, kids today, they're bigger, faster, stronger. The weight program and the nutrition side of things, and you know, it's come a long way since the mid to late 90s. But yeah, it still blows my mind that they'll run it up there that hard, and that guys can sit back and hit it, you know, or they can sit on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and the guy throws a 84-mile-an-hour slider and they're able to hit it as well. It's phenomenal to watch how far the game has come. But yes, 94 nowadays is just another day at the park.
Makes you wonder if maybe also the radar guns are better. You know, it's like back in the 90s, like I could swear I see some scouts sitting back there and he's using a hairdryer just because he wanted to fit in. Like he didn't have a radar gun. I think they all are accurate now, you know?
Well, it really is phenomenal. But, you know, it's just the game has evolved, you know, the technology now that these kids have as far as spin rates and this, that, and the other. And, you know, it's just, like I said, it's evolved for the better, I think. And it's fun to watch these kids play. Sure. And I think it's helped the smaller schools, too. You know, we'll play a lot of midweek games where guys are running guys out there that are throwing low to mid-90s as well. So it's really benefited everyone, and I think been better for the college game for sure.
Brad Henderson on your radio right now, live from Athens, Georgia. They got game 2 tonight. He'll be on the radio call with DK, David Kellum, as Ole Miss tries to win the series tonight on the road at Georgia. Brad, with the SEC tournament next week, looking back at your experience as a player, late 90s at Ole Miss, every SEC tournament you played in as a player, were they always in Hoover?
They were, but here's the thing about it, Matt. You got to. We weren't really good in my tenure there. Ole Miss had kind of in '95, the year before I got there. They were really good. David DeLucci and that bunch.
Yeah,
and went to a regional, and then it truly was a rebuild my freshman year, and we didn't make the tournament until my senior year. Is the only year I made it. Because back then there were only 12 teams in the league,
right?
And they only took the top 8. And so I know my junior year we finished 9th. We finished a half game out from making it.
Wow!
So it really made my senior year that a little bit more special, simply because we had done something there that we hadn't done my entire career. And back then you kind of knew, kind of like it is now, you knew if you got in the SEC tournament, you were going to make the postseason as far as the regionals go. And but yeah, it was a special time. And you know as well as I do, the SEC tournament, it's harder than a regional because there's so much talent there. And back then, the stadiums aren't what they were today, so you got to go play at Hoover, which was a big deal because obviously it was the AA Barons back then at the time, and it was just a big stadium. It was nice. Everything was catered. And it was a special time. And you knew it was a time that the season was getting close to being over, and you know as well as I do, Matt, every year is different with the teams you're on, and every team has its own identity, and you know the bond with that team wasn't going to be around much longer, so you just kind of had to cherish those moments and kind of soak it all in while you still could.
That's cool. So that last year you got to have that experience, go and be a part of that SEC tournament, which to me, in media stuff, Brad, I get to go to some of these things, whether it's a media days or an SEC basketball, but the SEC baseball tournament is my favorite thing every year for a lot of reasons. It's just such a cool event. And I didn't get to experience it as a player. You did. I'm wondering from your perspective, that player's perspective, a lot of people often ask, hey, if it's a good team and they've wrapped up, they're going to host a regional and they know they're in and all, do they want to just go to Hoover, play a few innings, and get beat and go home? And I'm always like, I don't really see it that way. For you as a player and as a former coach, take me into the mindset of a player on some of these teams that they know they're in the regional, but they're going to play this conference tournament, and how you approach that conference tournament.
Yeah, no, as a player, you want that trophy. You want to bring it home. It means a lot, obviously, for your fan base. For your program, for recruiting. Now, I do think you have to. You certainly have to change up some philosophy as far as the pitching side goes. Right now, Ole Miss is slated as a 6 seed, which puts us playing on Tuesday. Game 1 on Tuesday. Now, a lot of things can change over the next 2 days, but if we play on Tuesday, we can't run Doug Nikhazy out there on Tuesday. We'll have to piece it together to try and win that first game on Tuesday to get you into the double elimination that starts on Wednesday. But no, you certainly, as a player, you go out there and compete and get ready for the regional. But no, this is not a time to, hey, we're going to plug another guy in because he needs at bats, or we're going to plug another pitcher in because he's only thrown 12 innings. No, you're in there trying to win every game. And the SEC tournament, as far as the regionals go, it can help you bolster that postseason resume. Where if Ole Miss is in the top 16 right now and they made a run in the tournament, it could get them to the national seed. So there's still a lot on the line with that SEC tournament. Not only just winning it, but you could win 2, 3, 4 games in it. You've really bolstered that resume to better yourselves in the regionals.
When you played in Hoover at the SEC tournament, did they have all the teams staying in the same hotel?
We did.
Yeah,
we did, which was interesting at the time. But it's a business trip. When you're a player, when you're a coach, it's a business trip. There's not a lot of socializing. You got one thing on your mind, and that's getting the rest. Eating your meals, having your team meetings, and then going to the yard and trying to get it done. So you don't get a lot of that downtime like the fans do. But yeah, we did, and you'd see teams coming in and out, and you'd see teams that had lost loading up, heading home, and but it's such a neat tournament, like you said. I've got so many friends that'll go over and take RVs over, and not only are they Ole Miss and State fans, but they're going to stay and watch all the teams, all the games, because the baseball is so good and the environment's so good.
It really is. For those listening, if you haven't experienced it as a fan, it's just a cool thing. You go and, like Brad said, you see all these teams game after game. You run into all these fan bases, and it would be like an A++ experience if it wasn't for that stupid whistler at Vanderbilt. But that's a different story for a different day. But it is a really...
Well, we had him last weekend.
Yeah, I know.
We had him last weekend, and he had toned it down a little bit. I was surprised. I even got a text from my wife who couldn't make one of the games, and that said she didn't hear it but like 4 or 5 times. And so he definitely stands out, and they're definitely a really good team that you think could make a real run in that tournament as well. But yeah, he's one of the more annoying fans in the game, but it is what it is.
That's right.
It's part of what makes SEC baseball unique, and I'm sure he'll be there.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think you're right. He's toned it down. I was watching the end of that Vandy Kentucky game last night when Vandy walked it off in the 9th inning, and even then they had a little rally going, and I'm like, he's really toned it down. You don't hear it as much, and I just think it's very telling when we're complimenting somebody for being slightly annoying as opposed to completely.
Well, maybe it's the mask. Maybe the mask is just muffled him.
Maybe so.
But yeah, it's interesting. But he'll definitely be in Hoover. So if you're in Hoover, you'll know exactly who Matt and I are talking about.
You sure will. You sure will. Well, and Brad, real quick, looking at you kind of touched on Ole Miss's situation in terms of tournament and postseason and that kind of thing. I know none of us have a crystal ball. Are we confident that Ole Miss is hosting a regional, or do you look at it like they need to win here to do they have work to do? They need to make sure of that, or do you think that they're squarely hosting now a regional in the postseason?
No, I don't, and I don't have any more knowledge than you do, Matt. I think coming into the weekend we were in the 16. Obviously, with the win last night, we're still in the 16, and I think if we can get one more, we would securely be in the 16. But to sit here today and say if we didn't win one of the next two, I don't know that answer. I think it's 50-50. Now, a lot of that has to do with what the other 4 teams or 3 teams in that top 20 do on the weekend as well. But to sit here and say, boy, I feel really good about being in, no, I can't answer that. But, you know, like I said, I think we came in the 16. We control our own destiny, which is exactly what you want. We're not looking for help from anybody else, which is a good thing. So, you know, we've got 2 games left, I think, to win one. Obviously, you'd like to get both of them, but I think one more gets us in, and, you know, we'll have to try and get it done today. I think today we face their best guy, from what I understand, so it'll be a challenge. But, you know, the opportunity's there, and I think these guys are well aware of that, and I think we'll go out and play well tonight.
Ho-hum, their best guy, just another guy throwing 95. That's just another day in the SEC. Brad, I really do appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, as always, Matt. Thanks for having me on.
All right, talk to you soon. That's Brad Henderson. He is he's still the all-time hits leader at Ole Miss, and got into coaching. Now he's in broadcasting. He's in the booth with David Kellum. They got game 2 tonight against Georgia. Now I'm not looking at people. I was looking at Georgia. Georgia's interesting because they have flashed a couple of times this year. They went to Vanderbilt and took 2 out of 3. Remember that? When they hit all those home runs on that Friday night against Kumar Rocker and the guy they brought out of the pen and beat Vanderbilt in that first game and then took another game. So that was the first series loss of the year for Vanderbilt. It was against Georgia in Nashville. They went on the road and took 2 out of 3 from Missouri. Came back home and lost a series to Auburn, then went on the road, picked up a win at Arkansas, played well, and then won the series on the road at Florida. Georgia is a team who you could look at what they've done and say that Georgia's actually been a little better on the road than they have overall at home this year. And Ole Miss will try to continue that streak, see if they can win the series up there tonight. Just getting started. Hour number 2, off and running. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and delicious.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Now, if you know your oats and want to feel your oats and taste how good an oat cereal can be, well, you'll go for Cheerios. Great way to start the day with really great eating. That's Cheerios, one of the few foods made from oats. The tasty cereal grain everyone should have at breakfast. Crisp and golden as only a toasted oat cereal can be. And nourishing? Why, a Cheerios breakfast gives you the power protein that grown-ups need to help stay in trim and youngsters need to grow on. Toasted oat goodness, toasted oat flavor, a delicious power breakfast. That's Cheerios.
Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, 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 Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today, and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, Meadow, Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold.
And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time. Thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jell-O Instant Pudding, made by the famous Jell-O folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good busy day dessert. Jell-O Instant Pudding.
start for great sports talk.
I'm talking way back.
It's the Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone.
Well, how about that? So, Bill, in the intro right there. By the way, hey, Bill.
Hey. You knew somebody had to be here, right?
Well, I was just, somebody had, that's right. I assumed it was you, and I'm glad it's you, and I kind of felt like, well, maybe I put him to sleep. I need to wake him up. I'm like, hey, Bill! No, I wouldn't. I'm just kidding. But the intro that you heard, we were coming back from the break there, was a home run call. Of course, that was a fake one. This is actually a real one. We were talking about Albert Pujols yesterday, who, as of yesterday, was 5th on the all-time home run list in Major League Baseball with 667. He had 5 home runs this year, and then this happened last night.
On a 1, Pujols hits the ball the other way, deep to right field. Reddick's going back at the wall. Albert Pujols, his first Dodger home run.
I mean, they release him, Dodgers sign him, bang, oppo. So now he's got 6 home runs this year. And it's updated. There it is. So let's see. How close does that have him now? He's 5th all-time on a home run list with 668 now. That'll put him 28 home runs behind Alex Rodriguez, who's sitting there in 4th place. Okay, so I just thought I'd give that update. There's your update. One more thing, Bill. Today is National Pizza Party Day. So I'd just like to ask you, when does the pizza party start at the radio station?
Well, so far it hadn't.
Doggone.
Being it's Friday, there aren't going to be a whole lot of people here after a while.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be just me.
Is Beaver coming back in?
Oh, yeah, he'll be back in. So, yeah, it'll be him and Jake and me.
You know what I'm going to do? All right. I'm not supposed to, audibly do a play-by-play of texting people during the radio show. When I say not supposed to, it's just understood that that's not necessarily the best thing for me. But this is a case where I've just got to do it. So I'm texting Beaver and Jake right now that to let them know today is National Pizza Party Day, and they need to bring pizza in there, not only for their show, but for Bill's show also. For Bill also. He needs some pizza. So I'm texting them to let them know. National Pizza Party Day. So the question is this. Plain old pepperoni. When we say pizza party, okay, that means multiple pizzas. That's a lot of pizza for a big group of people. That's not the same as, let's just say Matt and Bill are going to go to lunch, and we either split one, he gets half what he wants and half what I want, or we each get a personal one, and it's what we put all these things we want on there. No, this is where, pizza party is, probably anywhere from 5 to 10 people minimum, and you got to have pizza for everybody. So when you order, what are you ordering? You're going to get 2-3 large pepperonis, a couple sausage, a couple cheese, and it's just pretty generic. That's what you do for pizza parties, right? Anyway,
I think you might get a meat lovers.
Yeah. And then they can pick off of it what they don't want?
Yeah, what they don't want. Yeah.
That's a good idea. You can always take things off the pizza.
Yeah.
You can't just put it on. Okay.
We're taking odds on whether they're going to actually do this or not, right?
Yeah. Let's see here. The text says, today is National Pizza Party Day. See, I voiced it. And it says, and y'all need to bring pizza in there. Not only for your show, but for Bill. And let's just see if we get a response.
And there's a couple other people in the building, too. I see them walking by my window here right now. So
I wonder if they heard that.
No, I doubt it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I see them as they walk by the window, so there are at least 2 other people here.
I wouldn't put it past after getting that text, I would not put it past Beaver or Jake to get pizza and bring it in there. I don't know what the rules are. So anyway.
Oh, we know Jake's got a hookup with Lost Pizza. That'd be good.
Yes, it would. Do you eat there much?
No, but I do have a gift certificate from there I haven't used. I need to use that thing.
Right. We have. See, I just got a text.
I heard a ding.
You heard that?
Uh-huh.
It's a very non-committal response from Jake. That's what it doesn't say yes. It doesn't say no. It doesn't say I will, I won't. Yeah. It's just basically like.
He's wishy-washy. Wishy-washy.
Well, look, I think he's sort of being wishy-washy here.
He's sort of being, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm going to, I've said this before, like kind of just named off a couple of my favorite pizzas from Lost Pizza. You know, everybody has the ones they like. The one that I think am most fond of, and I hadn't had it in a long time at Lost Pizza, but it's called the Lucille.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's got grilled chicken on there, bacon, tomatoes.
Everything's better with bacon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the other one.
Tomatoes are good, too, yeah.
It's really good. And they have one that is kind of like a Meat Lovers. It's their version of a Meat Lovers. It's called the Otis.
Uh-huh. Otis.
Bacon, ham, sausage.
Yeah, that one showed up here a couple times.
Mm-hmm. It's good now. I mean, it's good. Let's see what Ryan has to say. Ryan is on line 1 of the Davini Equipment phone line. Hey, Ryan. Happy Friday. What's up?
Hey, happy Friday to you, too. I don't know if you've already talked about this yet, but Phil Mickelson right now is in the lead in the PGA Championship right now.
Well, Grumpy texted me just a little bit ago, and he said, update, Phil Mickelson leading the PGA at 5 under, but that was about 30 minutes ago. Is he still at 5 under as far as we know?
Yeah, he's still at 5 under. He's already finished today. He shot at 69 out there, which is surprising because that is like what I've heard is like one of the longest par 5 courses in the world.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin's out there. He's a short game guru. He's over there. He's over at Old Waverly, Timmy Overton, and he's out there.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's one of the guys he's coaching is playing in it, Kevin Kisner.
Yeah.
And he's not doing too well in it. It's kicking everybody's butt in there.
Except old man Phil.
Yeah.
At 5
and
under.
they've even the cut line now is at 3 over.
Okay. Really? The cut line's at 3 over, so he's 8 in front of the cut line here on what is day 2 of the PGA. Old Phil. Well, I'll be doggone.
And his dad body, according to the homecoming queen.
Yeah, I think I'm the one who said that. She might have sort of agreed.
Oh, did you say that? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, somebody did. I know.
She might have sort of agreed out of obligation, but she's the one who said, well, I like Phil. I always thought he looked great out there. Like, yeah, well, I'm looking at it for
I like Phil because at the Zurich Classic after Hurricane Katrina, when we went there, he handed over and gave me a ball.
Oh, cool. There you go. So he made a fan out of you, Ryan.
Oh yeah.
I think he's generally a good guy. You know, what can you tell, right? Like you can only go from your own personal experience. And Ryan, he gave you a golf ball. That was really nice of him to do that. Now it's not like he doesn't have 8 million golf balls,
and he gets them free.
But still, it was a nice gesture. Good stuff, Ryan. Thanks for the call and the update. Appreciate you.
Yeah, and what's really strange about Phil, I always thought this kind of strange. He does everything right-handed except play golf.
Mm-hmm.
That is so strange.
Isn't that strange?
Right-handed. He throws a baseball right-handed.
Yeah.
But he hits a golf ball left-handed.
A lot of people do that kind of stuff, like kick with one foot and throw with the other.
Yeah.
My dad was a college baseball player. He was a catcher. He was a left-handed hitter in baseball. And he threw right-handed, right-handed, kick right-footed. He's right-handed. But he was a left-handed hitter. And when he picked up the game of golf, which was I think he told me it was according to, I think he told me that it was when he was in college, he started picking up golf. He wanted to play golf. And so he got golf clubs. We got left-handed golf clubs. He's a left-handed hitter. And because of the left-handed baseball swing mechanics and stuff, he couldn't, it was impossible for him to hit a golf ball straight. You know, the baseball swing, the left-handed baseball swing took over. So Bill, he turned around, got some right-handed clubs, and taught himself to play golf right-handed.
Goodness.
And plays good golf. You know, over the years, has played a lot of good golf as a right-handed golfer, but he was a left-handed hitter in baseball.
And he's a catcher, so you know he's a right-handed thrower.
He was a right-handed thrower.
Because there aren't too many left-handed catchers.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
People, those lefties, man, those lefties weird. I'm kidding.
Yeah, please.
Now,
Don't make me get tactical phone calls all afternoon.
Yeah, I take it back. I totally take it back. You know, now if you throw left-handed, now you got a premium. You know, every helicopter dad out there, as soon as he realized little Johnny toddler was a left-handed thrower, he's like, oh, I got a pitcher. Yeah. We got to give him lessons.
What about the ones that can throw both?
Now that's highly impressive right there. And
That's
unusual. Right. And sneaky. I don't know how to trust somebody who can throw with both hands. Kidding, of course. All right. On to other things, including who the Lucille is named after, who the Otis is named after, and Louvier's text coming up. Y'all stick around.
Now's the time to get a great...
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if, you know, who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it.
Quiet Show. 3 minutes for your life right now. On 105.9 The Zone.
Louvier on the text line says that Phil's dad taught him by standing in front of him, and Phil mirrored his swing. So his dad's right-handed, so little Phil stood in front and mirrored that swing, so he's doing it left-handed. Yeah, makes total sense. Makes total sense. Regarding the names of the pizzas at Lost Pizza, this Lost Pizza originated over in the Delta. I think Sven's right on this. The Lucille is named after B.B. King's guitar, and the Otis is the front name of Otis Spann, an old piano player. Yep. They're good, too. They are good. I wonder if they have any pizza like that over in Germany. Sven, do they have pizza over there? Daryl said that his dad played pool and shot a gun left-handed. Everything else he did right-handed. Now, that's interesting. I never have thought, it's never crossed my mind, the fact that some people would shoot a gun right-handed or left-handed. So I've never thought about that before, but it's right. For me, I'm right-handed. I always have been. Now, as a young guy playing baseball, I bat both ways, but I was pretty much right-handed, and that's what I stuck with. Throw right, kick right, and sure enough, shooting, go hunting. First time you ever pick up a gun or BB gun, start learning how to shoot, put it on my right shoulder. Never thought about somebody putting one on their left shoulder. Or if it's a handgun, putting it in their left hand. Looking with the other. What eye do you look with? Right? So here's the thing about that. Think about this. Talking about, are you right-handed or left-handed? Do you shoot right or left? Now, I know we're talking to hunters here. I'm not talking about anything else. But if you're a right-handed hitter in baseball, the theory is you're left eye dominant. Y'all remember the right eye, left eye dominant stuff? So, again, in theory, if you're naturally a right-handed hitter, then you're left eye dominant because that's the eye closest to what you're looking at there. Even though you're using both eyes to look at it, you're left eye dominant, right? But if you also then pick up a shotgun and you're shooting a shotgun, you've got it on your right shoulder, okay, you're pulling the trigger with your right hand, you're looking down the barrel and down the sights with your right eye. Correct?
Well, I shoot with my left hand, and I look through with my left eye.
Uh-huh.
And I'm a right-handed batter.
Okay, so maybe you got it right.
I cannot see down a scope with my right eye the way I can with my left eye.
Uh-huh.
And down a barrel of a gun.
I've
always shot left-handed.
I have never once in my life, Bill, picked up a shotgun or a rifle and put it to my left shoulder and looked down the sights with my left eye. I've never even done it.
With a pistol, I shoot with the right hand.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
but as far as looking down a barrel of a gun, sighting things, I do it. It's my left eye is dominant.
Okay, but you pick up a pistol and you got it in your right hand.
I'm using my right hand. Yeah.
So when you sight the pistol, do you sight it with your left eye?
No, I think I kind of do a little bit of both.
A little bit of both?
Yeah.
Of
course, I do wear glasses now, so I don't know if that affects anything or not.
Yeah.
But I've always, as soon as I pick up a gun, a shotgun or a rifle, I always go to the left eye with the.
Okay.
Yeah, hold it. Get ready to pull the trigger with the left. I don't know why. It's always done that.
We may have a pizza flavor correction. Jared on Facebook says Otis is the nickname of Dustin Williams, an Indianola farmer who, in the first days of Lost Pizza, would come in, order a pizza with all the meats on there that they had in the kitchen. So they named the pizza after him.
Well, that sounds about right.
So maybe there was a great piano player named Otis, but the pizza is not named after him, according to Jared.
So if he was to come in, they had rabbit back in the back and maybe some squirrels.
Put it on there.
It's on there.
Just cook it well.
Raccoon.
Yeah. Cook that raccoon well done and then put it on the pizza.
Awesome. Yeah, we just got this possum. It's fresh out there on the highway. We got it.
Fresh roadkill. What would be the name of the
roadkill pizza?
Well, I'm saying so Lost Pizza gives it names of people. I'm trying to think. Do we could call it the Foxworthy. He's the one who had the jokes about roadkill.
Uh-huh.
Foxworthy told this. Okay, side note, Bill, this is the part of the show where if Annabeth's listening, she's going to roll her eyes and tell me I need better content.
Better content.
Foxworthy is the one who told the joke about having this friend who was obsessed with having things stuffed, taking things to the taxidermist, to the point that he even took it beyond things that trophies he took while hunting. He'd see things on the side of the road, stop, pick it up, throw it in the back of the truck, take it to the taxidermist. This is a Foxworthy joke. And he said, so this guy, they're in Louisiana, he says, pull over. Quick, we're right here, pull over. Guy jumps out, runs down in the ditch, and picks up by the tail a dead beaver.
Yeah.
Bill, he said, the guy holding the dead beaver by the tail looks back towards the truck and says these words. Look, it ain't bloody or nothing. Foxworthy said, apparently, the words bloody or nothing are the magic words that bring beavers back to life.
Uh-oh.
He said the beaver opened its eyes and then opened its mouth. Now, I'm just going to tell you what Foxworthy said. Leaned forward, bit him in the chest, and bit his right nipple off. Now, Foxworthy said, y'all, it's one thing to be bitten. It's a whole different kind of pain when something is bitten off. Okay, all right. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough of Foxworthy. But yes,
and them big old teeth, those big. Oh my gosh, they can chew trees down. Come on.
Hey, that's the thing. If a beaver is alive, it can bite anything off it wants to.
Yeah, buddy.
Look, it ain't bloody or nothing. All right. Jason in Flagstaff says, I write left-handed, but do everything else right-handed. Monkeys riding dogs. Speaking of names, texted the show and he said, you need to shoot the side of your dominant eye. So if your right eye is dominant, you shoot right-handed. Your left eye is dominant, you shoot left-handed. Like, how do you find out? Dennis, formerly of Omaha, said that he says, I shoot long guns left-handed and everything else right-handed. Before, as a kid, I could only close my right eye. Huh? As a kid, you could only wait a minute. Dennis, are you saying that as a kid you could not close your left eye? I'm a little confused here, but I trust you. My phone started ringing. I was going to see if that was Annabeth calling me to say, hey, change the subject, Matt. She has been known to do that kind of stuff. Start times tonight for baseball. Start times tonight for baseball, the game times. It should be similar to last night, if not the same, but it could be a little different depending on what is and isn't on television. You know, like last night, for instance, the ESPNU game was a little earlier. So here's what you have. The TV game So the linear television channel SEC Network is going to carry Arkansas, Florida, Game 2. Arkansas is up 1-0 in the series. That one will throw out first pitch at 7 o'clock Central. So it's actually the last game to get started. And they're putting it on the SEC Network TV stuff. And I wonder if the network's carrying some postseason softball or not. I don't know. But I'm just wondering if that's why this Arkansas, Florida TV game starts at 7 Central. Everything else is either 6 or 6:30. Okay, Ole Miss at Georgia Game 2 is a 6 o'clock Central first pitch. SEC Plus, or listen on the radio. Tennessee up 1-0 on South Carolina. Game 2 tonight at 6 Central. Also at 6 is Game 2, Mississippi State, Alabama. SEC Plus or radio. Then your 6:30 starts, 6:30 Central, will be Game 2 out in Texas A&M, hosting LSU. A&M up 1-0. 6:30 is Auburn at Missouri. Game 2, Auburn up 1-0. And then Game 2 in Nashville, 6:30 first pitch between Kentucky and Vandy. Vandy up 1-0 thanks to a walk-off 2-run home run, bottom of the ninth last night to take that game. Kentucky had runners on base with no outs in the top of the ninth, but couldn't do anything because the guy on the mound for Vanderbilt was throwing so hard they couldn't even bunt him over. They couldn't even lay down a bunt. A foul ball and a fly ball is all they could muster. So anyway, that's your schedule for tonight. Listen, for those who listen to this show via replay, this will probably be it for you. Unless something changes, I will not be here with you on Monday. It'll be a preparation and travel day and getting ready to spend all of next week with you here on the show live from Hoover at the SEC Baseball Tournament next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So look forward to that. So if you leave us, I hope you have a great weekend, a long weekend. If not, stick around for hour number 3 here in the Bureau. Stay with me.
Another load of Smart Pills has been distributed, and I'm slap worn out. So I'll just say, so long, neighbors. Get me out of here, Percy.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Arrived today. Jeans do come true. Thank you, Blue Delta. Yeah, jeans do come true. That's what the bag says. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, hand tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi, my hometown. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase. Again, that's if you listen to me, you can use discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, and at checkout, you're going to get a 10% discount off your order. So I just went online, ordered them, BlueDeltaJeans.com a couple weeks ago. Went in, I didn't go get measured. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are at my doorstep a couple weeks later. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Nice. I'm happy. I've known the Blue Delta team for years, and I'm thrilled to have these guys on as a sponsor of this show. Blue Delta's virtual tailor is a fun and easy way to get yourself into the best fitting pair of jeans you're ever going to own. Bet you never thought you'd get a butt shot out of me, huh? How about that? Just answer the questions and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions. It's amazing how they do it. They will fit perfectly. You're not going to find better material and better feeling pants, period, anywhere. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. I promise you that. And I know that you
are going to love them too. Make sure you use the code. And remember, genes do come true.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, 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 Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today, and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, Meadow, Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
Is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time. Thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jell-O Instant Pudding, made by the famous Jell-O folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good, busy day dessert. Jell-O Instant Pudding.
Savings may vary. See straighttalk.com.
It's like I blinked, and suddenly all my business shifted to e-commerce.
Now, my business hours are whenever my customers need me.
My customers want everything now and faster than ever. It's a whole different world.
Your business is changing. The United States Postal Service is changing with it. We're bringing you fast, reliable shipping nationwide, and we're bringing it right when your customers need it. Let's discover new routes. Visit USPS.com/new routes. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and his exact words.
This is WRKS Pickens Jackson. Live
in the studio.
Live and local. This is the Matt Wyatt Show. Talking about sports from around the world and right here at home. Streaming to you at the Zone, 1059.com, and on your radio on ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
Howdy ho, neighbors. Hour number 3 of the show, off and running. Hour 3 in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. I'm Matt. Bill is here. Importantly, you are here. Appreciate you being here, being a part of the show. Drop us a comment on the live stream. Shoot me a text on the Country Pleasing text line. It's 885-ESPN, 601-885 ESPN or 885-3776. Call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. 995-1059. That's a 601 number there, 995-1059. All right, so hour 3, it's an opportunity to recap. Oh, by the way, we had some guests today, some fun interviews. In hour 1, way back when, talked to Bart Gregory, part of Mississippi State broadcasts of baseball on the SEC Plus. And then hour 2, at the beginning of that hour, for a few minutes, talk with Brad Henderson, who is the Ole Miss baseball radio analyst. He's with the team. They've traveled with the team over to Athens, Georgia, playing a 3-game series. Tonight's game number 2. And when we're done here today, you can go back and catch those portions of our live stream that happen on Facebook or YouTube or Periscope. It'll all be right there for you if you want to check that out again. But we enjoyed those. I did anyway. We had several questions, comments, opinions, otherwise. So somebody enjoyed it. If you did, let me know. Shoot me a text. Also, I will say we have some text left over from hour 2. We were in the conversation of right-eye dominant, left-eye dominant. It seems to be opinions all over the map. And I would guess that, most folks are probably don't care one way or the other. Now, again, if you're a baseball player or if you're like a skeet shooter, one or the other, that's going to be something you're going to want to know. So I want to say thanks to Monkeys Riding Dogs for texting the show, 885-ESPN, the country pleasing text line, because he's got a chart here that tells you how to look at like a bullseye, but how to shape your hands and how to look like at a bullseye there, and to see if you're left eye or right eye dominant. I can't figure it out. It ain't working. I tried it, but I still can't figure it out. Let's see what we have here about baseball. Doggone on the country pleasing text line. 885-ESPN, 601-885-ESPN. Doggone said, for state fans who are baseball scoreboard watchers tonight, says you want to pull for Oregon State versus Arizona, and you want to pull for Florida versus East Carolina. Sorry, South Florida versus East Carolina. There, I got it. Now, assuming you're talking about Arizona, East Carolina being top 25 teams, East Carolina ranked 11th, but in the RPI, they're sitting there at number 7 in the RPI. They've gained a bunch of ground here over the last week. East Carolina has. They jumped all the way up to number 7, jumped one spot in front of Mississippi State. So what Doggone is saying is you look at some things that can ebb and flow based on wins or losses for Mississippi State against Alabama. They've gotten the first game of the series, but they continue to win tonight. They are, he says, and it makes sense, you're going to be pulling for South Florida to upset East Carolina this weekend. Bump them back down, help State move up a spot or two, a little farther into the top 8, right? Help your seeding, chances of being a national seed. The other one is Oregon State versus Arizona. Arizona currently sitting at number 5 in the RPI, having jumped up a couple of spots. So if those series, doggone, if they started last night, what happened? I'm going to look it up here. Okay, so it starts tonight. Oregon State, Arizona is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. So that'll be game 1 for Arizona. So you pull for Oregon State, maybe knock off Arizona, bring them back down, help State skip them if State could win. And the team that's right in front of State in the RPI is East Carolina, coached by Cliff Godwin, the former Ole Miss assistant. Of course, he played at East Carolina, so he's coaching his alma mater, and he has them at 38-11. They are 20-6 this year in the AAC. Did their series start last night? Yeah, it did. It actually started yesterday, and they played 2 games. So if you look, AAC is doing what Conference USA did, and that's playing 4 games a weekend. Almost no midweeks and playing 4 games per weekend. So what happened for East Carolina, like say they're 20-6. Well, they picked up wins number 19 and 20 in the conference yesterday. Played a doubleheader, beat South Florida 10-1, then beat them 5-2. So they're scheduled to play 1 game tonight. It's being played in Florida, by the way, at South Florida in Tampa. So they're playing tonight and then 1 game tomorrow. And they're on a 4-game win streak. They've won 6 out of the last 7. Therefore, they've gained some ground. And all those wins, the 4-game win streak, the 6 out of the last 7, 5 out of the last 6 have been on the road for East Carolina. So that has improved their RPI, shot them up to number 7, 1 spot in front of State. And I think it is a really good point. I hadn't thought of that, doggone, but you're right. You know, there are other factors in your seeding other than just your own wins and losses. Not everybody else is static, sitting there waiting on you to jump hopscotch one way or the other. You know, State could effectively win tonight, hold serve in their RPI. But if East Carolina were to lose tonight, South Florida, maybe it flip-flops those. And you're now kind of tracking one spot or the other based on 1 game here and 1 game there, and then 1 game Saturday, and then it'll be another game in the SEC tournament. And you know, unless State sweeps Alabama, that's just the way it'll be up really until Selection Sunday, is you'll be watching it closely because you're not squarely in the top 4 or 5 right now. Didn't TCU lose to somebody last night? Anyway, I'm not looking all those up. Arkansas is squarely at number 1, and they beat Florida last night in Fayetteville. And that helps Mississippi State in terms of the SEC tournament seeding because State wants to be in the top 4. They went into last night's game tied with Florida, 4th in the conference, and Florida would have gotten the tiebreaker and been the 4th seed. State wins, Florida loses, State jumps them, State's the 4th seed if they play today. But everybody's playing 2 more games, weather permitting, this weekend, so the hay is not completely in the barn, so to speak. Just got to watch it. Got to watch it day by day, game by game. The other part of this, and we hadn't covered this really on this show, is we've talked about everything that motivates State, everything that is at play for State in these games against Alabama. If you look at it, what's at play for Alabama against State? It's playing into the NCAA tournament. Like right now, the projections at D1 baseball, I believe, have Alabama as one of the first 4 or 5 teams out of the tournament. Where's the latest projections here? Where are they? I don't even see them. Projected field of 64. Yeah, but that's a few days old. Do we have a new one? No. We don't. So the last ones that you could see, people doing these projections, had Alabama in the group of the first 5 out of the tournament, not in the tournament. And then, of course, they lost last night to Mississippi State. So you talk about motivation and what's there to play for. Well, we hadn't talked much about Alabama. Alabama's in the SEC tournament. Maybe they could improve themselves over there. But they're sitting there looking at these last 2 games with State tonight and tomorrow going, boys, if you want to play in the postseason, these are must win. You know, you say you get their best effort. Just because it's important doesn't mean you get their best effort. But I guarantee you the guys in that Alabama clubhouse are going to feel the full weight of the importance of this game tonight against State and that one tomorrow because they're playing for the life of their season. State's playing for seeding. And as Bart Gregory told you in hour 1, State's playing to be in a position, be that national seed so you could host a super regional. He said the ballpark at State was built to host super regionals, to make it the kind of place where it's really hard for a team to come in there and win 2 out of 3 games. Well, that's right. State's playing for seeding. You have an Alabama team that, for all they know, they have to win these 2 games against State to have a shot at getting in the NCAA tournament so that their season doesn't end in Hoover. You know, so there's plenty of motivation on the side of the Crimson Tide going into this one. It's baseball. Motivation, I mean, you got to go play. Be motivated all you want to, but you still got to throw it over the plate and put the bat on it. And there's my old-fashioned old guy coach speak for you for today. We just got to concentrate on us. We got to play our game. Okay, I get it. And let's see, was there another one we were looking at? Somebody mentioned Duke, North Carolina. Not really sure about that one. I don't know. Sven brings up an interesting point right here. He says, Matt, think about this. He said, in football, East Carolina would never be ranked that high, no matter who they play. But in baseball, it's a bit more level playing field, in my opinion. Well, I mean, you got a national championship trophy at Coastal Carolina. They won it in 2016, beat Arizona in the last game of the College World Series. Coastal Carolina. You know, you're right. Now, that's the thing about baseball. There is no lack of parity in baseball. Parity meaning anybody can beat anybody. Okay? Put the stuff aside about some teams have big recruiting advantages over others and all this kind of stuff. I don't know that stuff necessarily has a comprehensive across-the-board effect on every win and loss. It just doesn't in baseball. It's different. I had a coach who even said to me at one point, you know, the thing about baseball, there's 299 teams in Division I baseball. The 299th team can beat the number one team. And it happens a lot. The 298th team can beat the number 2 team in a game. Then it happens. Now, across the season, those top teams are going to be better. You don't have that in football. Frankly, it's just never happening. Okay? The 120th team in FBS football is not beating the number 1 team in football. It doesn't happen. It ain't going to happen. The nature of the sports are so different in that regard. So, yes, Sven, Coastal Carolina will forever be the latest, greatest example of that. Baseball has a little bit of the dynamic that you have in the March Madness basketball tournament. There are Cinderella stories. Okay, you can be a 12 seed and go play in the Final Four. You know, those kinds of things can happen. Baseball is a kind of sport where it can happen a lot. But what we're talking about is it still is a rarity that a Coastal Carolina gets to Omaha, that type of Cinderella program. It's still a rarity. And it's still a rarity even more so that they actually wind up winning the whole thing. That's just the truth, is how rare it is. They can catch that lightning in a bottle every now and then. But over a 2-year, 5-year, 8-year, certainly a 10-year period of time, now it's a whole different story even in baseball, because the recruiting landscape is so uneven. No school has like the same scholarship package. They're all different. Like even in the SEC, the most powerful and best baseball conference in America, it is a drastic difference in the scholarships and the aid that's being offered with the top schools in the SEC every year, those best programs, versus the ones that are at the bottom. It's a huge difference. And so you take a big cross-section, teams that have the most money at their disposal in ways to stack extra academic aid, need-based aid to recruit players to their place on top of the 11.7. The teams and schools that have that, when you look over a larger stretch of time, they are dominating the sport. They are. In overall wins and in recruiting and in putting players into majors and all that kind of stuff. So it's different. You're exactly right. You know, you worded it that way, but I agree with you. Now, let me read this too, because he says I'm missing the point. Sven says it's not my point. The point is they get a shot at the trophy. In football, it'll never happen. UCF, for example, is way better than Oklahoma in 2017, got left out despite 12-0 record. And that I agree with you on, Sven. Okay, so I'm getting your point now. At least they have a shot to get into the tournament. And that's the 64-team deal. You know, again, let's look at baseball. 299 teams playing D1 baseball, 64 of those getting into the tournament. You know, it's a doable percentage, right? I mean, it ain't bad. It could be a lot worse. What is that percentage? What is it, 20%? A little over 20% of your teams that actually make it into the tournament and then have a shot to play themselves into it, given the nature. Yeah, they got a shot. You're exactly right. East Carolina's got a legit shot because they'll get to be on the field and decide it on the field, even if they get it. Let's say East Carolina hosts a regional, they play through it and have to go play in a super regional in Nashville against a Vanderbilt, okay? Vandy, big advantages in recruiting, all that kind of stuff. Playing the best conference. All this stuff, but guess what? East Carolina be on the field with them. Get to find out on the field. One way or the other. In baseball being the sport that it is, anything can happen. Ball can do some crazy stuff. Pitcher's just got to have one good night. The next one's got to have a good night. You win 2 out of 3, you're in Omaha. You know, that kind of stuff. You're exactly right about that, because in football, there is no question. And I've said this. I've said it on this show. I've made videos about it. I'm not getting off of it because it's just the truth. Whether anybody wants to admit it and whether anybody wants to argue it, Sven, what you're saying is the truth. In FBS football, you have a 4-team playoff. They're going to change it. That's happening. We don't know yet, but to this point, you've had this 4-team playoff. Well, the decision makers, I mean, UCF, East Carolina, Boise State, Louisiana Tech, Louisiana Lafayette, who else? You know, Tulane, Houston, those teams, Memphis, they can go 12-0 this year, 12-0 next year, 12-0 the year after that. Those people putting the teams in the playoff are never going to put them in. They do not have access to it. To pretend that they do is, yeah, Cincinnati, great point, Sven. Cincinnati was one last year. To pretend that, oh, well, this is the FBS. We got 120 FBS teams. We got a 4-team playoff. All you got to do is get in the playoff. You can win a national title. Bull! Cincinnati can go undefeated until the cows come home. They are not putting them in a playoff. And you go, well, we're going to get an expanded playoff in football. Well, hallelujah. Put them in an expanded playoff. You know who's going to get put in a playoff? Power 5 teams. That's who they're going to put in there. Watch and see what happens. I'm telling you. Watch. Let's just say they expand it to 8 teams. Okay? Go from 4 to 8. Watch what happens. Well, Matt, I mean, if they go to 8 teams, then undefeated Cincinnati will probably be in there. Nope. Watch what happens. It'll be 11-1 Georgia or 11-2 Georgia after losing in the conference title game. And it'll be 10-2 Texas A&M, who didn't even get to the championship game because Alabama went. And who else? You know, it'll be team number 2 from the ACC. And it'll be, I don't know, Wisconsin. They didn't, beat Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. They're in the playoff, though. So I hate to be so skeptical and pessimistic about the football side, but I agree with you 100%, Sven, and until I see otherwise, I'm not changing my mind on it. Now, if they went a step farther and did go as many as 16 teams, and that's, I think, a different deal, then, undefeated UCF, undefeated Cincy gets in there. But, again, I got to see it. I got to see a press release that says a 16-team playoff until I'm willing to believe it. They just not, I mean, they're not going from 4 to 16. The most team playoff, and I know that you said the math didn't work. Well, they were going to put buys in there for certain teams, but the most number of teams I saw in a playoff model that it seemed like they were seriously discussing had like 12 in it. Some scenario where there was 12, but not 16. Yeah, and make no mistake, as big a gap as there is in recruiting in baseball, it's even bigger in football. Massive, massive difference in football. All right. Why not? Memory Lane coming up next. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beechnut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beechnut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if you know who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, you know, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and delicious.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Now, if you know your oats and want to feel your oats and taste how good an oat cereal can be, well, you'll go for Cheerios. Great way to start the day with really great eating. That's Cheerios, one of the few foods made from oats.
And on your radio at ESPN 105.9, The Zone.
Back with you. I enjoy our daily trip down memory lane every now and then. So,
yeah, it's fun.
In spite of harsh criticism, I am not cutting it out of the show. I'm only kidding. I'm sort of blowing it out of proportion. It's not. Nobody's told me not to do it.
I just want to keep being able to remember those things.
Well, you were really good at it. I'll tell you who probably the best.
I have useless trivia in my brain.
Well, you and Neil Price could really give each other a run for their money on this stuff. I think. I'm into it too. Grew up watching the shows, all the stuff, the songs, the shows, the trivia, the TV stuff made an impression on me as a kid coming up. It obviously did you. Neil is one of those. I can play any television theme song and Neil Price knows it. I mean, he can just nail it. And it'd be fun to play that game with him. What would really be fun is to do something like where we get Neil and you in the studio one day and let listeners challenge you. And see if they can guess them before y'all do it. And I guarantee you they wouldn't, because, I mean, you guys are pretty quick with it.
Like, name that tune and how many notes?
Yeah. Name that tune, you get 2 notes. Suspense. Let's see. Here we go. Memory lane for today. There's some stuff in here now. 2 good ones. First up, on this day in 1990, the final episode of... Any ideas?
Yeah, I recognize it, but
yeah,
it's on the tip of my tongue.
Let's see if this helps. Okay, Vermont.
Yeah.
Ski Lodge. Great stand-up comedian. He's about 100 years old now. He's still living, by the way. Newhart.
Yeah, Newhart. Yeah.
Remember?
That's another one of those shows that ended up being like a dream sequence was actually part of the show. He actually dreamed the whole show.
That's it.
In the last episode. That was so weird.
He sure did.
He woke up, I just had the strangest dream.
You will never believe what I just dreamed.
And that's how they ended the show.
Mm-hmm. That was that episode on this day in 1990, May the 21st, Newhart's last episode. They ran a ski lodge up in Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Newhart, hilarious, by the way, just hilarious. And, of course, you had the recurring characters. Larry or whatever his name was. Yeah. And this is my brother Daryl. This is my other brother
Daryl. Yeah.
He had 2 brothers named Daryl. I always felt like he needed to introduce them all the time. And I don't remember the name of the character, and I can certainly picture the actor who played the character. He had other famous roles, but it's sort of the slow-witted, dopey, like maintenance guy who was always had the dry humor. That was all. They were always bouncing stuff off of him on the show. Anyway, great show. Final episode of Newhart on this day on CBS back in 1990. Now, 2 years after that, May 21st, 1992, final episode of...
Man, you got a couple of tough ones today.
When this one...
I recognize the theme, but
yeah.
Come up with
okay, the clue would be... I mean, it was just made for a male audience, particularly a young male audience, where it's all about taking a piece of string, some chewing gum, and
MacGyver.
That's right. MacGyver. He
Yeah,
can
they got a new version of that on now, too.
He can rig anything out of anything. Yeah, MacGyver. So they've brought it back, huh?
Yeah, Henry Winkler produced that show, and now he's producing the new show, MacGyver. That has
Okay.
a young blonde guy playing Mac MacGyver in it.
Yeah.
It's more updated now.
So, for anybody that's not familiar with MacGyver, the show is this guy. He always finds himself in a bind somewhere, and it was super action type show, and he's always things are always blowing up, catching on fire, and he's getting trapped, and he'd always figure out ways into or out of a situation with
And all he had
whatever's
was a Swiss Army knife.
just whatever's around him. Okay, hacks. He could hack anything. Like I said, give him a piece of string and an old T-shirt and some bubble gum and a magic marker, and the next thing you know, he's made a hang glider. It's just. But here's the thing: it was all stuff that you could imagine you could make it work yourself. It wasn't too outrageous.
Yeah, you look around and he'd find all the parts in the area he was standing in. Okay, here's
That's
what I need.
right.
And then he would find everything.
All right, so here, I got a list for you. 15 insane MacGyver hacks that would totally work in real life. Let's see if I can find it. All right, the first one is season 1, episode 1. Need an easy way to analyze fingerprints without a lab? Use soot and an adhesive like packing tape and easily lift fingerprints off of a champagne glass. Okay.
That'll work.
It'll work.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 from season 1, episode 15. In this episode, MacGyver uses candlesticks, a rubber mat, and an electrical cord to improvise a defibrillator. All right.
There you go. Yeah.
Season 1, episode 7. MacGyver got out of a locked walk-in freezer. I remember this episode. He's locked in a freezer. He got out by using a light bulb to melt some ice, channeling the water into the lock. When the water refreezes, it expands to open the lock. Now, do you think that would work in real life? Huh?
Probably so. Do you remember? I don't remember. Did he explain how he was doing everything in the old show? Because in the new show, the MacGyver now tells you how he's getting ready to do it.
Oh, he goes
and
ahead.
explains how it works as he goes through it. And it's amazing.
I honestly don't know about that. I'm trying
I
to
can't
think.
remember if he actually explained how he was going to do it or if he just did it.
Yeah, the old one, I don't think he did. I think he just did it.
But
yeah.
the new one, once he starts he looks for all the stuff. It says, and if you take this and this and this and put this in here and fire this up, it'll do this.
Yeah.
And then he shows you.
Meanwhile, us old folks are like, shut up and do it already. Hey, just a side note, Saturday Night Live did a little satire, whatever satirical, a play on this. Of course, it's Saturday Night Live, and they called it MacGruber.
Yeah.
But in their case, he always blew himself up. Every time.
Every time.
It was the opposite of the actual MacGyver. Okay, MacGyver, here's one. He goes airborne by making his own parachute. See, I told you, all he needed was canvas, tie downs, and wind.
Yep, that'll do it.
All right, season 2, episode 19. When car repair costs get you down, use egg whites to fix a leaky radiator.
I think I've heard of that.
Well,
you pour it in the radiator, you pour the egg whites in the radiator, and it does. It seals it up.
It sealed it up. Okay. Season 1, episode 7. MacGyver makes a thermite welding torch by scraping shavings from a magnesium racing bike, adding some rust from a paint can, and igniting with a roadside signal flare. Whoa!
That'll do it.
Season 3,
I'd probably burn myself up if I tried to do it.
I mean, yeah, do not try this at home. Yeah. Season 3, episode 18. He secured diapers on a baby with duct tape. I mean, come on now. We all have done that.
Done that, yeah. Scotch tape, whatever kind of tape you happen to have. You get enough on there, it's going to stay.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's see. Here's another one. MacGyver pieced together a homemade missile launcher using household products. I think I remember seeing that one. He stopped a sulfuric acid leak around the house with chocolate bars. The acid reacts with the glucose in the bars to form elemental carbon and a thick gummy residue. These are great shows for a
I think
kid.
they had a lot of scientific geeks
Yes.
that were in the background telling them all the stuff they could actually do, and here's how you do it. Because I think people were probably going, I'm going to make sure that really works.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah. But they probably, some of them might have hurt themselves, but they probably had some people that were doing the, scientific part of it going, yeah, this will work. Just
Yeah.
try it. Yeah.
Jason on Facebook commented, by the way, he said it shouldn't be called MacGyver. It should be called Redneck Guide to Fixing Things.
This is true.
This is definitely true. Here's one for you from season 3. MacGyver thwarts a robbery with a homemade tear gas bomb. All he needed is hot water, a hot water bottle with a mixture of cayenne pepper, vinegar, and baking soda.
Well, the cayenne pepper is in tear gas.
Hey, look, there's another one. Don't try that.
No, don't.
Lawnmower engine plus bamboo plus trash bags equals a do-it-yourself airplane. All right, that's enough. That ain't working. I don't believe it. It's not realistic. That's not realistic. All right, boys and girls and youngins, we will wrap it up with you next. Stick around.
Ever feel like making an appointment with your doctor takes a lot of time, only to feel rushed through the actual appointment? Avoid the hassle at Capital Ortho, where our board-certified, fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons are waiting to treat you immediately. With one-on-one professional and personal patient care, both you and your time matter to the staff at Capital Ortho. To schedule your same-day appointment, visit at capitalortho.com or call 601-987-8200.
They say if you love something, set it free. At LifeLock, we say, what a load of bull hockey. All that saving up and paying off debt, and now some identity thief wants to set it free? Crazy talk. LifeLock helps monitor your info and alerts you to potential identity threats. If you become a victim, we'll help fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but LifeLock helps you keep what's yours. Save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com with promo code NEWS.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
I love playing soccer, and I'm a big game player. But when I hurt my knee during a game, I was off the field and riding the bench. That's when my super surgeon at Mississippi Sports Medicine and practice for me. I'm a super athlete because I have a super surgeon, 18 surgeons, 6 orthopedic subspecialties, and 1 focus. You, Mississippi Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center, since 1984.
The new Mississippi Department of Corrections is now hiring correctional officers. Interviews are conducted daily at facilities in Jackson, Parchman, and Leakesville. Applicant must be 18 years old or older with valid driver's license and social security card and have proof of 9th grade completion. For additional information, contact MDOC at 1-866-783-9359 or get more information and apply online at www.mdoc.ms.gov. Apply today and you can start being paid tomorrow. The new MDOC, where it's a new day, a new way, pay and new pay.
Wendy's Frosty Chino is cold brew with frosty creamer. What does that mean? It means we took rich, smooth cold brew and then added your choice of vanilla or chocolate frosty creamer. Can you say good morning? Or better yet, Wendy's Frosty Chino? It's cold brew with frosty creamer. It's only at Wendy's and it's delicious. So ditch the stuffy coffee shop and say hasta la vista, barista. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Frosty Chino and start your morning right.
At participating U.S. Wendy's.
Since 2008, Frank Chevrolet Buick GMC has offered superior General Motors products and excellent customer service. Their mission has always been treat others as you would want to be treated. Head over to frankchevy.com for great deals and inventory, or make the short drive up to 1001 Highway 35 North in Kosciuszko, Mississippi. Great deals are to be had on used and new inventory, like the 2021 GMC Sierra Crew Cab or the 2020 Buick Encore. Jump into 2021 with a great deal from Frank Chevrolet. Visit frankchevy.com or call 662-663-3074. Sales, service, parts, and more at Frank Chevrolet in Kosciuszko.
Bad phone systems are bad for business. Poor clarity, lack of features, absolutely no support. Well, good news. Reliable VoIP does exist. VoIP from C Spire Business is a game-changing, stress-free communication system with crystal clear audio and premium features, all backed by our team of experts, available 24/7. Now that's VoIP. C Spire Business. Stay connected with powerful communication tools at cspire.com/business.
Football. Hey, if you love football, so does he. It's the Matt Wyatt Show. Nobody breaks down quarterback play better than him. And he's right here, right now, online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Yeah, Bulldog 44 had a good question. He said, how many kids do you think made trips to the ER trying to imitate MacGyver?
Too many.
Way too many. Yeah. Don't imitate MacGyver. Although they say some of those would work. They had to get those ideas from somewhere, right? I came back into this last segment here, Bill, chuckling because I just watched this video online. Somebody sent me. I think they took it, a buddy of mine, I think he took it off of TikTok and he texted it to me. And it's this older guy getting in the truck, and the guy picking him up called him Uncle so-and-so, Uncle whoever. But the uncle getting in the truck, the old guy was kind of staggering a little bit, and he had his shirt on backwards with the tag sticking off the front. Like he put it on inside out and backwards. And he asked him, he said, "You been drinking whiskey?" And the guy said, "Yes, sir." And he got in the truck and he said, "How much?" And the guy goes, "I don't know. I don't have a measuring cup." Oh, well, it's a pretty good line. Some people need to get a measuring cup so they don't go overboard, right? Right. Maybe we need a measuring cup sometimes. Hey, look, I got to tell you about this. Listen to this. I would imagine you file this under the category of irony. Ironic irony. You know, look it up. I think this qualifies. Listen to this. University of Hartford, I'm assuming Hartford, Connecticut. University of Hartford president Gregory Woodward, embroiled in controversy over the decision to drop the school's sports programs from Division I to Division III, which means, you know, from for-profit to non-profit and from scholarship to non-scholarship. Well, this president has acknowledged an inaccuracy in his university bio. In an email sent out to the University of Hartford community, President Woodward noted that he was not a Division I student athlete at Villanova 50 years earlier, as it said in his bio. Woodward said that he walked onto the Villanova men's soccer team as a freshman and played for one season before transferring. However, Villanova didn't have a program at the time. They didn't have a soccer team. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's ironic. Folks, don't lie on your bio. I mean, really? Seriously. How you going to say, yeah, I played soccer in college? Guess what? Didn't play soccer in college. I mean, come on now. How does that even happen? Don't lie on your bio. Remember the football coach at Georgia Tech a few years ago? O'Leary? Was it George O'Leary? Yeah, he was the... I want to say he was at Georgia Tech and they fired him, right? Because of it. Stuff that he lied about on his resume, apparently. Don't lie. Do not fib on your resume. Now, I want to pass this along to you also because I hope this is not a story that repeats itself. Now, I'm not blaming this high school football player for making this decision that he's made and made public. It's just, I go, really? Is that where we're going with this? The number 82 recruit in the country, a running back named Jaden Blue at a high school in Texas, has announced that he's going to skip his senior season of high school football so that he can prepare for his commitment to the Texas Longhorns. All right, so first we have college players opting out of bowl games and opting out of seasons so as to get ready for the next level, and now it has made its way to high school. Now, as far as I know, this is the first one like this that's become public. He is a big-time player. He's an ESPN 300 running back, Jaden Blue. He's one of the top running backs in the 2022 class. That would mean signing and going to college in the fall of 2022. He has said he's going to sit out his entire senior season of high school football this coming fall of 21, to prepare for college. He goes to Klein Cain High School in Houston, Texas. 5'10", 195 pounds, been committed to Texas since February, and has made the decision to forego his last high school season to get ready to be a Longhorn. Here's what it said on Twitter. He put it out there. Now, his commitment picture is a picture of him in, a Texas Longhorns uniform. It says 23 signing out with the peace sign. Thanks to everyone for support. #Hook'em. Got an orange heart and the Hook'em emoji. I'm going to read it for you. The message that he put on Twitter. If you don't mind, I'm going to read it for you. It's not that long. You know how they put announcements on Twitter, type them up themselves on the phone, put it on there. It says, after countless hours of evaluation, I've made the decision to forego my senior season of high school football. This has been a very difficult decision for my family and I. Now that's tough right there, because that's not, it should be my family and me. Judy, if you're listening, I know that was tough on right there. It's been a very difficult decision for my family and I, me. Football is a brutal sport, and the wear and tear associated with the running back position is undeniable. This is from a high school player on Twitter. I plan to take this time to focus on my academics while enhancing my off-the-field training and rehab regimen. This is a strategic and conscious effort to ensure that I am prepared to perform at an elite level at the collegiate ranks. He says rankings, but he means ranks during the 2022 season. I want to thank each of my coaches and teammates at Klein Cain High School. The relationships established have helped mold me into the young man I am today. You have my continued support this season and in the future. This is an incremental step in hopes of one day fulfilling my NFL dreams. Signed, high school recruit Jaden Blue. Now, what I want to know is, are you a Texas fan? Texas Longhorns fan? How do you feel about it? If you're an Ole Miss fan, how would you feel if this was an Ole Miss commitment? If you're a State fan, how would you feel if this is a State commitment? shoot me straight. I don't know about this. Daryl brings up a good question on Facebook, and he says, what happens if the coach, meaning the coach at Texas, decides to split or they sever ties with him? What happens if his commitment isn't honored? He hasn't signed anything. He can't yet. Is this not weird to you? I mean, he's not a signee. He has not signed scholarship papers. He has a verbal agreement right now with Texas, and they with him. And maybe it's all hunky-dory and works out fine, but I mean, is it not a risk on his part? I have given a verbal commitment to Texas, and therefore I ain't playing no more football until I get there. He's good. He ran for over 2,000 yards last year, 30 touchdowns, averaged almost 10 yards a carry. Lots of scholarship offers. Already made the commitment. ESPN is told that his decision does not impact his commitment to Texas. The Longhorn staff aware he was going to make the announcement. Does it set sort of an icky precedent? Because I got news for you. If you think he's the only one, if you think he's the only relatively high-profile high school recruit that is going to do this, you got another thing coming. Flowwood Reb says, I think it is setting a bad precedent. What happens if he is good as a freshman and a sophomore? I guess now you can expect him to possibly sit his junior year of college to prepare for the NFL. Yeah. Better recruit some more running backs if you're Texas, huh? Of course, they will. Judy from Oxford said, yes, that was hard to hear. Tough decision from my family and I. That's tough. Oh, see, Homecoming Queen's the same way. She was English major. Minor. I read it to her, and she's like, oh, that's tough. Sven said, this is crazy. He is young and needs every snap he can get to get better. If I am Texas, I'd call him up and tell him, go and play or you will not be a Longhorn. Sven, as surprising as it is to read this story about this decision, I'm even more surprised that Texas goes, yeah, we're aware of it. We're fine. They're effectively saying we'd be fine if all our commitments do it. Every last one of them. Tell you what, man. Too bad, Uncle D. Life isn't that way. He says, I'm going to sit out this job and get ready for retirement. Doesn't work that way. See ya.
Another load of Smart Pills has been distributed, and I'm slap worn out. So I'll just say, so long, neighbors. Get me out of here, Percy.
Live Oaks wants